Jeff, you're muted.
All right. Welcome to the June 13 Board of Directors meeting of the Environmental Facilities Corporation. It is 3:19. Hey, can you call the roll, please?
Certainly. Mr. Spanco.
Here.
Ms. Westerman. Here. Mr. Leary.
Here.
Mr. Corcoran.
Here.
Ms. DeMarkey.
Here.
Mr. Kazansky.
Here.
And Mr. Zarowski.
I'm here.
Mr. Chair, you have the complete board and quorums established.
Great, thank you. First item of business is approval of the delegation of authority for Christine Westerman from the Department of Health. Can I have a motion and a second, please?
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Francis.
I'll second.
Thank you. Any discussion? Welcome, Christine.
I just want to welcome Christine. We've been working with her for a couple months now, I think, knowing that Roger was leaving. So great to have her on the board and continue to work with Christine.
Agreed. Okay. All those in favor? Aye.
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 Unanimous? All right. Next item on the agenda is approval of the draft minutes from the May 12 board meeting. Looks like everyone was present. I have a motion and a second.
I'll make the motion, Chairman.
Thank you, Vita.
Second.
Thank you, James. Any discussion? Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous again. Okay. I have nothing to report. Glad to see everyone is here. Participating. We did have a governance meeting, which Vita chaired, which was lively, and we discussed a lot of topics. So we'll get into those in a little bit. Other than that, summer is almost upon us. So hopefully we'll get out and see some sights. Madam President, do you have anything to discuss?
Just a couple of things we included in the board package. The RFQ for advisors for the asset management program. This is the last RFQ. The responses are due June 28th, and we hope to have a contract start in September of this year. And again, that's for the asset management program, where we'll have one advisor training a group of firms working with tenants of, 30 to 50 municipalities, again, developing asset management programs. So that is moving along. The listing deadline and updating for your listing for both the drinking water and the clean water IUPs for the base program, and then the bill supplemental, so the new federal dollars that we got are due June 17th, and also Friday, and also for the clean water, we've got a small pot of emerging contaminants money. Those are also applications for listing for the IUP are due this Friday. For the drinking water lead service line, $115 million for lead service line, and the drinking water emerging contaminants, the listings are due August 31st. So haven't gotten tons of listings yet or updates, but they always come in the last 2 days. So we're anxious to see what kind of interest we have on, the new funding, and we'll keep you up to date on that. I think that's it.
So, Madam President,
Sure.
the 115 million is what we have available to communities for lead service line replacement.
Yes.
Total for now, and do we expect more?
Yes. Similar to that, it's about this exactly the same for 2023, and then it's 3 more years after that.
Got it. 3 more years, same amounts, similar amounts.
Similar, right?
Okay.
And what we went out for in this is both the 2022 and 2023. Actually.
Got it.
So there's a huge amount of money compared, because that's in addition to our regular funding that we get.
Right.
year.
Questions about that. We may not,
Okay.
there may not be any answers on that. Just wondering, do we foresee maybe like one winner of that or multiple? Like multiple companies coming in with different,
Oh, are you now
Strategy.
going back for the
The
asset
115.
management?
no, the 115.
Oh, the 115.
For the lead service line. Just wondering if we have any, if there's a preferred or how you see that.
I'll have Christine.
Yeah.
Or answer that.
Monica, let me know if I go off.
Okay.
Anticipating the water system supply.
Okay.
Not vendors.
Okay.
Not contractors to help them, so given the number of water systems.
Right,
in the
okay.
state, I don't expect it to all go to one.
Okay.
I mean, it will depend on the applications that come in, and then they're scored and
Got
ranked
it.
based on need.
And at first, we're looking for folks to do inventories, right? To use the money for inventories? Monica?
We expect some lead service line could be inventories. This is the first time that we'll be able to fund that sort of work. But for those that already have their inventories done, then we can fund actual work.
Yeah, and the other thing I would just say, Madam President, is on this one, I think it's one of those things where if people know we have the money and we communicate it out across the state, that folks will step up, because I think there's a little bit of, well, we'll just do the pipe to here and leave that lead for now, and they don't do anything about it. But if they know that there's some money out there that's free, they might actually. I mean, there's some that need to be addressed immediately. There are others that probably need to be addressed, but they're not addressing it because they don't have the funds to do it. And this would, spur some extra activity and maybe help that along. So that's great.
Yeah, we've done, excuse me, a number of webinars, and we participated in where we mentioned the lead service line money, the dollars. It's 49%. 49% of the grant has to go out in grant and additional subsidization, and then also participated in meetings with NICOM or the WIPIC, all kinds of organizations that are having meetings with their members and mentioning the bill funding, and what's excuse me, and when we go out with the draft IUP, we'll have another webinar. So if you miss this round, this money's going to be around. We've been telling people, we've been working with EPA, and all of the states are working with EPA and trying to figure out, there's still a lot of unanswered questions, how this money is to be deployed and implemented. So we're all moving forward quickly because we need to get the money out, but we're kind of building the plane as we're flying it. So we will do that. Both EFC and DOH are doing that, and working alongside EPA and discussing with other states. And then the important thing is, if you want the money, apply, and we'll be working with you. And if you can't, because you can't get your listing in on the IUP, there's plenty, it's still going to be here. You haven't missed your shot. So we're just going to continue to work. We've also, on the wastewater side, we've gotten a list of speedies permits, of communities that have speedies permits that have never come into us or haven't come into us in several years. And we're going to be reaching out to those communities and going out into those communities with folks to sit down for a day and help people, getting applications or letting them know what they need to do.
That's awesome. That's awesome. What a great idea. That's a great way to find people. That's great.
Yeah, and on the water supply side, as we've been going out and doing trainings with local health departments, we're pitching this every single time, and also trying to get some guidance on the lead service line inventories, as well as our certified water operators are required to get continuing education credit. So every one of our, several of our presentations have included this for them, for their information. And then they would bring it back to municipal leaders to work on the applications.
Great idea. Great. Thank you.
Okay.
I said thank you.
Oh, thank you, Francis. Maureen, did that conclude your report?
Yes.
Okay, great. As I mentioned previously, Vita chaired the governance committee, and we had a healthy debate on a bunch of items. Vita referenced it as a layer cake. The Wasteland would appreciate you didn't do that. So let's Vita, do you want to read through these and then I'll call for the actions, or would you like me to read them?
I will make the recommendation, Chairman, and then you can follow with the motion, and we can do that pretty effectively.
It sounds good.
I said it was, the governance committee is a large layer cake that we take one bite at a time.
Well said.
So the committee met annually today, and in addition to approving our minutes, we reviewed our governance documents, and we're going to go through them quickly and the recommendations of the committee. We started with our bylaws, as we always do. There are no changes to the bylaws this year. There were no proposed changes since we last approved them. It is the recommendation of the governance committee that the bylaws be reapproved by the full board.
Thank you, Vita. Is there anyone like to discuss the bylaws before we call? Okay, could I have a motion and a second, please?
I'll make a motion.
Thank you, Charlie.
I'll second.
Thank you, Francis. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Unanimous. The bylaws have been adopted. Next item, Vita, it looks like the governance committee charter.
Yes, we also review our governance committee charter. No proposed changes since it was last approved. And again, it is the recommendation of the governance committee that the governance committee charter be reapproved by the full board.
Thank you, Vita. Discussion. Excellent. Can I have a motion and a second then, please?
Second.
I heard a motion and I think a second. I couldn't see who did that. Vita was one of them.
I'll do the other.
Great. Thank you, Adam. Okay, all those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Unanimous as well. Okay, item number 3, looks like procurement of goods and services.
Yes, I just want to let everyone know, you were at the meeting. I think almost everyone was at the meeting, but you can find our fundamental policies and procedures, including the procurement of goods and policies in your compiled document, page 19 through 244. There were no proposed amendments to the corporation's procurement guidelines. It is the recommendation of the governance committee that the guidelines be reapproved by the full board under presentation ID number 1 in this meeting today. So you don't have to take an action on that. And with respect to our fundamental policies and procedures, we did acknowledge all the documents and go through them quickly, but there is one proposed change. The removal of the reporting investigation of waste, fraud, and abuse claims is recommended by the governance committee as it is AARA specific. Otherwise, the fundamental policies in the corporation remain unchanged. So we recommend that you approve removal.
Okay, can I have a motion and a second on that item?
I'll make the motion.
Thanks, Francis.
And I see Adam seconding.
Yeah, sorry.
Great, great. Okay, discussion. Okay, hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, unanimous it looked like. Item number 4, Vita.
We also reviewed the qualifications of appointed board members and there were no changes. We looked and we had an executive session regarding the compiled results of the board performance evaluation and also revisited the defense and indemnification statute or acknowledged it. It is the recommendation of the governance committee that the full board approve the documents developed pursuant to the committee's authority and responsibilities.
Okay, I have a motion and a second, please.
I'll make a motion.
I think that was Charlie and Adam.
Sure.
Any discussion? Excellent. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
This as well. Last item 5, Vita, performance measurements.
Yep,
No
I think
action.
it did those, the mission statement and, the performance measurements. As always, we read the mission station, statement out loud. We won't do that now due to time, but there are no changes to the corporation's mission statement. However, we have improved and refined, the performance goals. Are we going to review them in full board? That's a question. Are we reviewing those changes in full board?
Mr. Chair, if you're comfortable with the review that occurred in governance committee, I believe the majority of the board was present. We're good if you want them.
They were, yep. Yeah, I'm comfortable with that. We can keep going.
Yeah, me too, because everyone was there. So therefore, it is the recommendation of the governance committee that the full board approve the amended goals.
Great. Thank you, Vita. Thank you for the presentation and chairing of the meeting. Okay, unless there's any unfinished business anyone would like addressed, we can move right to resolutions.
I just need a formal motion and vote to approve
Right.
the mission
Yeah.
statement and the goals.
Yeah, I was going to make that motion.
Okay, thank you, Francis. Can I have a sec?
Right?
You got a second there? Any discussion?
Just to thank Vita for all the time she put in and, taking us through all the documents. And as always, the annual reading of the mission statement as a group. So like the Pledge of Allegiance to the EFC, which is awesome.
That's what I was thinking.
Agree, well said, Francis. Thank you
So
again,
thank you.
Vita. Okay.
And we also finally, oh, sorry for the vote, all in favor.
No. It's okay.
Aye.
You have anything you want to add? Yeah, aye. That was unanimous, by the way. Vita, did you want to add anything?
No, just to state that we also reviewed the performance measurement report, which is an amazingly concise 5 pages of amazing accomplishments that are a tribute to everyone that works at EFC. Thank you.
Correct. All right. Okay, Kate, would you like to start with the resolution number 1, please?
Absolutely. A resolution of the New York State Environmental Facilities Corporation with respect to the annual review and approval of the procurement contract guidelines of the corporation.
Thank you. Could I have a motion and a second, please?
Make a motion?
Thank you, Francis.
I'll
second.
second.
Thank you, Vita. Maureen McGrath will be presenting this item.
Hi, everybody. Before you today are EFC's procurement guidelines, which were developed with guidance from the New York State Procurement Council, OSC State Authority Contract Manual, Public Authorities Law, Executive Law, State Finance Law, state regulation, various state regulations, and these establish our core policies and procedures to ensure effective and compliant procurement practices here at EFC. So our key procurement principles are compliance, effectiveness, efficiency, and economy in connection with the purchase of goods and services for EFC. Compliance with our procurement process by all EFC staff ensures that the interests of EFC, the state, and taxpayers are always protected, that there is always proper oversight of EFC's procurement activities, that there is fair and open competition, and that there are safeguards in place to protect against fraud, favoritism, or unethical conduct. And there are no changes this year, but we are required to have you review it and approve it every year. So if you have any questions, let me know.
Thank you, Maureen. Discussion. Great. Okay, then. All those in favor? Aye.
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 Unanimous. Item number 2, Kate.
Resolution of the New York State Environmental Facilities Corporation with respect to the annual review and approval of the investment guidelines, best support of the corporation.
Thank you. Could I have a motion? Did I miss a motion?
Charlie move.
Second.
Charlie, great, thank you. All right, Henrik and Albert will be presenting.
I'll go first. Henrik Weston, General Counsel. Just to start out, the tweak that we're suggesting is not born from a change in law. It actually had to do with an operational issue that came up about a month ago, where we were reading a few prospectuses with respect to money market fund investments. And in reviewing the guidelines, got us a little bit curious. So we dug into some of the relevant statutory frameworks, specifically General Municipal Law, Section 10. And we wanted the language to more accurately reflect what the statute says. So, and while this may seem like a change without a difference, it just, I think, is going to help folks in the future to really choose the correct investments. And so what we propose is, whereas previously money market funds were limited to treasuries, U.S. treasuries, and repurchase agreements of U.S. treasuries, we're just going to flesh that out so that it now reads that investments are limited to obligations issued and guaranteed by the United States of America or in obligations of agencies or instrumentalities of the United States of America where the payment of principal and interest are guaranteed by the United States of America. And while the prose may seem turgid, a little bit legalese, we do think that's a more accurate reflection of what the statute actually says. And so that's what we're proposing now.
Thank you,
great.
Hendrik.
Thank you.
Albert, do you have anything to add, or should we go to discussion?
No, so the next section is Exhibit B, which is the investment report of the corporation. So as required within the investment guidelines, there are 5 items of reporting. So the first is the investment guidelines, which are attached to Resolution 2911, and were last reviewed on December 9th. The second is the results of the annual audit, which KPMG will present on at the June 23rd, 2022 meeting. And that includes a review of the adherence to these investment guidelines. Next is the investment income record, which is on the draft statement of revenues, expenses, and changes in that position, which is on the following page. And the investment income was down this year due to a rise in rates, which leads to a reduction in unrealized gain on our long-term investment portfolio. Next, fees and commissions and charges paid to banks with respect to investments. There were none. And the quarterly inventory of investments, which is the quarterly listing of investments by type and account, which is sent to the board.
Thank you, Albert. Discussion. Okay. We'll move to the vote. All those in favor? Aye.
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 Okay. Unanimous. Resolution number 3.
A resolution of the New York State Environmental Facilities Corporation amending the prior authorization for financial assistance to be provided by the corporation to certain recipients in connection with the Drinking Water State Revolving Fund.
Thank you, Kate. I have a motion and a second, please.
I'll make motion.
I'll second.
Thank you. Great, thank you.
I'll second.
Nina. Great, thank
Oh,
you. Multiple
oh.
seconds. Brian McAvoy will be the presenter.
Yeah.
You having a technical
Francis, we
difficulty?
can't hear you. Brian, do you want to go ahead and start presenting and then, oh, I see Francis's videos coming back in. There he is. All right.
Great. Thank you, Jeff.
You got it.
There's three financings related to ID number 3. The first is for the town of Essex in Essex County. It's for just under a $4 million project for the installation of new groundwater sources and upgrades to the distribution system. We're looking for approval to extend the financing maturity date from June 27, 2022 to March 1st of 2024. The reason for this recommended action is there were project delays and additional costs due to difficulties developing a sufficient groundwater capacity source to allow for the surface water treatment plant to be abandoned. The second is for the town of Liberty in Sullivan County. It's just a $3.4 million project. It's for the construction of a new 500,000 gallon water storage tank, installation of approximately 3,000 feet of new water main to replace the aged water main, and replacement of aged water pumps and well field piping, and installation of a new emergency generator. We're requesting approval to extend the financing maturity date from August 31st, 2022 to December 31st, 2022. This extension is needed to get us to the anticipated winter pool. It's going to be part of the pool. The last one is for the town of Prattsville in Greene County. It's just under $1.5 million project for the development of a new groundwater well to provide required source redundancy for the water system. We're looking to extend the financing maturity date from September 14th, 2022 to September 14th, 2024. And the additional time is needed because attempts to find a new groundwater source were unsuccessful. So the town is now going to make improvements to their existing backup well to provide the needed redundancy. Thank you.
Thanks, Brian. Any discussion? Okay. All those in favor? Aye.
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 That was unanimous. Resolution number 4.
A resolution of the New York State Environmental Facilities Corporation modifying the authorization for financial assistance to the Water Authority of Great Neck North in connection with the Disaster Relief Appropriations Act 2013 and the Drinking Water State Revolving Fund.
Thank you, Kate. Can I have a motion and a second, please?
I'll make that motion.
Thanks, Vita.
I'll second.
Thank you. I think that was Charlie. Monica King will be the presenter. Or no, I'm sorry, I jumped ahead. Brian McAvoy again.
Okay.
He's moving us forward faster.
There we go.
Brian McAvoy for this one.
Okay. Again, this is on the Water Authority of Great Neck North. This project's for the elevation of wells 6 and 8 to above the floodplain. The original financing was just over $6.5 million, and we're looking to amend it to add $1,080,914 in storm mitigation loan program loan dollars and $376,472 in the storm mitigation loan program grant. This is a reallocation of the SMILP, the Storm Mitigation Loan Program dollars that were not entirely used by other projects. This will bring the total project cost financed or funded by EFC to $6,258,764. Thank you.
Thanks, Brian. Any questions for Brian or discussion?
No.
Excellent. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
I think we got everybody. That was unanimous again. Resolution number 5.
A resolution of the New York State Environmental Facilities Corporation making certain determinations and authorizing certain actions in connection with the Drinking Water State Revolving Fund and authorizing financial assistance payments to certain municipalities to fund eligible drinking water projects from funds appropriated for water infrastructure improvement projects.
Thank you, Kate. Can I have a motion and a second, please?
I'll move that,
I'll
Mr.
second.
Chairman.
Thank you, Francis. Okay, I heard a second as well.
Christine seconded, Mr. Chair. I don't know if you
Thank
heard.
you, Christine. Thank you. Okay. Monica this time will be the presenter.
Yep. Can everyone hear me?
Yes.
So I have information on 2 applicants for you today. The first one is a long-term interest-free financing for Deering Harbor. That's project number 18161. This project, Suffolk County, originally was short-term interest-free with the Storm Mitigation Loan Program, SMLP funding. Now moving long-term, they're going to be financing $451,504 in long-term interest-free financing to be combined with $125,000 of SMLP funding. The project consisted of construction of a new 100,000 gallon water storage tank to replace the existing 100,000 gallon water storage tank that they had. The project also included installation of backup power to operate the wells during power outages. And then the second project that I have for you was Water Infrastructure Improvement Act grant money. So WIA grant, it was for the town of Essex. Project number 17629. It'll have a maximum WIA grant amount of $1,053,229. So that's town of Essex in Essex County. The project involves the installation of new groundwater sources and upgrades to the distribution system to serve the town of Essex. The project will also address treatment challenges through upgrades to the existing surface water filtration plant. The funding source again was WIA grant money in $1,053,229. That's going to be combined with USDA Rural Services money amounts and also state economic and infrastructure development grant. That's the two projects that I have for you today.
Thank you, Monica. Discussion or
problem.
questions from Monica? Great. All those in favor? Aye.
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 Sounded unanimous again. Resolution number 6.
A resolution of the New York State Environmental Facilities Corporation amending the prior authorizations for financial assistance to be provided by the corporation to certain recipients in connection with the Clean Water State Revolving Fund.
Can I have a motion in a second?
Oh,
I'll second.
Great. Thank you both. Ryan McAvoy again with the presentation.
Great. There's one financing related to this ID number. It's the Village of Liberty in Sullivan County. It's for the planning, design, and construction of upgrades to the village's wastewater treatment plant. The original financing amount was $7,656,890. We're requesting approval to amend the short-term financing to increase the short-term interest-free financing portion by $1,743,110. This is because the bids came in much higher than expected, and it would result in a total funding amount being $8,784,708. Thank you.
Thank you, Brian.
Yeah, do we have a sense as to why they came in a lot? I mean, what's driving the higher bids?
So, yeah, anything on that?
We've been seeing higher
Across the
bids
board.
across the board.
Yeah, I guess what I'm asking, is this in line with those higher bids, or was this an outlier, or is this sort of that general trend that we are all seeing in the world?
It's a general trend we've been seeing across the state and across all types of projects. We're hearing supply chain issues. We're seeing that contractors are not hungry.
I know that. Sorry, maybe make unclear. The question I'm asking is this particular increase in line with that general trend, or is it outside of it?
No, this was in line with what we've been seeing.
That's the question. Thank you.
Great. Anything further? All right. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Unanimous. Our final resolution, number 7.
A resolution of the New York State Environmental Facilities Corporation making certain determinations and authorizing certain actions in connection with the Clean Water State Revolving Fund.
Yeah, I can have a motion in a second, please.
I'll make that motion, Chairman.
Thank you, Vita.
I can second.
Thank you, James. Bill Brazell will be presenting.
All right, today we have 2 clean water projects before the board for new financings. First, we have the Village of Marcellus in Onondaga County. The village recently completed a $7.6 million upgrade of their wastewater treatment plant. We're asking the board to authorize a long-term interest-free financing of $4,347,276. The community also received a WIA grant from EFC and 2 Water Quality Improvement Program, or WQIP grants from DEC. This project involved the construction of a new headworks facility, 2 secondary clarifiers, and a UV disinfection system. They also updated older equipment at the plant and other unit processes. Construction was completed in December of 2021. And next we have the city of Middletown in Orange County. This is also a long-term interest-free financing. City recently concluded a nearly $3 million project to update pumps at their wastewater treatment plant. Before the board today is a long-term interest-free financing of $2,258,863. The community also received a WIA grant for this project from EFC. And the project included the replacement of screw pumps at the wastewater treatment plant. Construction is nearly complete, is anticipated to be complete at the end of this month. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bill? Discussion or questions for Bill?
Screw pumps. Very, very old,
Archimedes.
right?
Yes.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you.
Okay. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
I'm gonna get rid of the screw pumps. I think that was unanimous. Mistaken. Okay. Anyone have any new business they would like to raise? Great. Our next meeting of the Board of Directors will be June 23rd, Thursday, 12 p.m. It will be preceded by Finance Committee at 10:45 and Audit Committee at 11:15. I have a motion and a second to adjourn.
I'll make that motion to adjourn.
Proceeded. I have a second.
Second.
Thank you, Adam. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
See you in person
See you later.
soon.
10 days.